And thanks for staying with us. Let's go to another global story. Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is on a two-day visit to Bangladesh, where he landed in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka. He will be meeting the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. He will also be talking to FM on Bangladesh. An agreement to extend a $4.5 billion credit line to Bangladesh is expected to be signed during his visit. The credit line will help Bangladesh to build and complete several infrastructure projects. Finance Minister is also expected to inaugurate several projects over there. And our Bangladesh Bureau Chief, Saad Hamadi, had a chat over there.
Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has arrived in Dhaka on a three-day trip during which he would sign a dollar credit line agreement of $4.5 billion that India is extending to Bangladesh. He will be meeting with Federation of Indian and Bangladeshi Chambers of Commerce and Industries to look into the business and economic prospects, where Bangladesh's Industries Minister Amir Hossain Amu is also likely to be present. Tomorrow he will meet his Bangladeshi counterpart, Finance Minister Abul Mal Abdul Muhit, to sign the dollar credit line agreement. The credit line will be used for Bangladesh's infrastructural development for improved regional connectivity. The two finance ministers will also review the economic cooperation between the two countries agreed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Dhaka in June 2015 and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to Delhi in April this year. The finance ministers will also inaugurate the Dhaka representative office of the Export-Import Bank of India and also a cashless transaction in visa processing by the State Bank of India. These are the updates we have so far about Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's visit to Dhaka, which is considered to be significant to streamline the economic opportunities between the two countries. At the Bangabandhu Air Force Base in Dhaka, Saad Hamadi, WION.
And an important story from India, where all eyes are on today afternoon Monetary Policy Committee's decision on rate cut. The Monetary Policy Committee, headed by RBI Governor Urjit Patel, has started two-day deliberations yesterday, with industry and government hoping for interest rate cut to spur growth, which fell to three-year low of 5.7% in the June quarter. While experts expect status quo, the fourth bi-monthly monetary policy statement for 2017 is due to be released today. So will the rate cut happen? That's a big question, and that will be answered today afternoon. Industry and government, they both want rate cut to happen. And Indian Central Bank, RBI, has started two-day policy review meeting yesterday. And GDP growth is down to three-year low of 5.7% in June quarter. And experts expect status quo to be maintained on interest rates. And we are joined by economist Suyaj Bhatt to talk more on this. Mr. Bhatt, good morning to you. First of all, I would like to ask you, do you expect the rate cut to happen? Will RBI bite the bullet this time too?
Morning, Sumit. The data pointers show that it's unlikely that RBI is going to go ahead and cut the interest rate. But since the Monetary Policy Committee has a representative also from the government, I hope when the voting happens, people favor growth versus conservatism. We know in 2015. China had gone ahead and cut 250 basis points in one go just to bring up the economy from the doldrums that it was getting into, and see the result. In 2 years you see Chinese economy up, and the GDP has started growing. At least it has stabilized. So I believe a classic Ricardian economic theory says that whenever you're in crisis, go and bite the bullet, cut the rate, bring the economy out of the crisis that we are in. And I think inflation adjusted growth is nothing wrong in it. All the developed economies have gone for it. Developing economies have adopted this policy. So there's no point being so concerned about inflation. And, and we know these inflation, the cause of it is not a rise in commodity price, it's supply side constraint due to which it has been caused. So even if you keep a higher interest rate, it's not going to solve the problem which is caused due to supply side constraint. I mean, you can't overnight, grow wheat, essential commodities like wheat, rice, or crude, or any of these overnight. So might as well give in and cut rate and let the economy grow rather than hold back and keep watching what happens, and we go from better to worse from here on.
And also, how do you see this step by government to cut down excise duty on petrol and diesel by ₹2 yesterday. Do you think it is precursor to something which is coming today, or that's clearly a headline management by the government? How do you see this step?
If you remember, they were talking about stimulus. There's a very good way in which the government is ready to say that, I am ready to buckle and, give away a part of my revenue and, to revive growth, because petrol, diesel, especially diesel, is one of the most basic commodity which is used in logistic and transport of goods. So if you cut this down, automatically you'll see an impact of that on inflation and the, growth figures. So if the government is ready to, give in and, go ahead with a cut on their revenue, why not, cut rates and also boost spending? There is an estimate that if you cut interest rates by 25 basis points, corporate EBITDA would improve by almost 300 basis points. So if that is a kind of impact we are seeing, might as well give in and go ahead with it. But knowing the conservative approach that the RBI has had, it's very difficult to say that they're going to go ahead and cut the rate. But I'm very hopeful that the MPC would have members who would be little liberal and not be too conservative and allow economy to grow, rather than being too conservative and watch on the sides and allow things to go from bad to worse.
Also, Mr. Bhatt, do you think that RBI will now wait for festival demand, and they will see what happens during festival season, and then they will go and take a call in the next Monetary Policy Committee decision whether to go for rate cut or not? I mean by asking this is that if the festival demand is not as much as expected, then they can probably go for a rate cut in the next quarterly policy meeting. Do you expect that approach is being adopted by RBI now?
Right. So what has actually happened, Sumit, is we are in a classic stagflation kind of a format where growth is not happening, consumption is not picking up, and you have a sticky inflation. So in such a situation, you need to somehow find a way to boost consumption. And the only way consumption can be boosted is by, cutting taxes. Either that's one way out, or probably cut interest rate, because cutting interest rate is an easier option out, so that it can be passed on to the consumer and people would start spending money. So that's a classic way of coming out of stagflation, and that's what is done world over. Developing economies have used this as a very extensive method of coming out of crisis. So why not us also use this at this stage? And the problem with us is we are too conservative when it comes to all these decision making. When growth is something which is required, I believe if everyone starts on it, people won't mind paying little extra for that fuel if they are earning probably 10%, 12% more than what they were earning last year.
Absolutely, right? Mr. Bhatt. Yes, so all eyes are on Monetary Policy Committee's meeting today afternoon, and we will wait to watch whether RBI goes for a rate cut or not. Thanks, Mr. Bhatt, for getting us all these details and this important perspective.